Greetings one, greetings all. It's been a while since I've been on to talk about paranormal activity in the town of Denbigh, but it is time now to share with you an investigation that I undertook probably about 2 weeks ago now. Many of you will have heard of the word poltergeist. Some may have even seen the film Poltergeist. A poltergeist is a noisy spirit. It is a mischievous, sometimes boisterous spirit that can move things around in people's homes. Now, Denbigh, ancient and modern town that it is, you'd expect there to be a lot of paranormal activity in Denbigh because the footprints of history remain all around us, and we're more long-lived, we're more historic than Denbigh. Not many places in Britain, ancient Britain, that has a history like Denbigh. But in this instance, I was invited to a home that was built in the 1920s. Now obviously I'm not going to share the names of the people or the name of the house or even identify where the house is, even the area, for security reasons, obviously, for national security reasons. But suffice to say, my interest was pricked when I received an email. The email gave me the bare outlines of strange activity in the house. The first and most important sign that there was something odd going on was that a huge radiator had been moved from the wall, taken off its mountings and placed flat on the floor. No one within the house was at the time that it happened was capable of lifting that radiator, a very old, very heavy radiator. There were other signs, an appearance. An old lady's face appeared in a doorway. I thought it was worthy of investigation, and of course I was over there quite quickly, because poltergeist activity, for example, which I suspected from the radiator point of view, can last, a generally short period of time before, it will fade out. The ghost, the lady's face that appeared, that pricked my interest even more. Quite unusual to have poltergeist and hauntings in the same, because they're completely different. Completely different. It's as different from living and dead. You can't get any different between the poltergeist and a haunting. When you undertake an investigation, you do have to have set questions that you ask of the witnesses, of the people living in the home, and you try and tick certain boxes to see, well, first of all, is it genuine? Secondly, what could be happening here? Is it poltergeist? Is it something natural? And thirdly, of course, and very, very important, what happens? What actually happens? And when you ask certain questions and you prick memories, then you get more evidence. More evidence comes into a number fruition. Of signs and symptoms there. What I discovered, and it evidence of stress, for example, which can bring on, or at least feed, the poltergeist. Building work can unearth all sorts of things. It truly, truly can, and there was evidence of that. Children, especially those around the age of 11, 12, coming into puberty, that releases a lot of poltergeist energy. And fourthly, the attention. the family had started to give quite a lot of attention and thought, and a lot of attention to the poltergeist. As you'd expect, it's quite normal. It's normal human behaviour to react. But again, the poltergeist does feed upon that. The poltergeist itself, is it an evil entity? No. It's not a demon. It's not a ghost per se. It's something that nobody really can understand. It comes, it goes. It comes once, it goes, and it goes forever. Can there be more than one? Yes, there can. But in this instance, I believe there is only one. Poltergeists are like children. Not only do they feed on attention, they also misbehave. And they misbehave in a more, not an evil way, but a mischievous way. And it's my belief that this poltergeist, and I'll give you the evidence of this now, is of a mischievous nature. Now, when I enter somebody's home, especially during an investigation, it's very important to me that well, first of all, I take my shoes off. I need to really be in contact with the surroundings. And that's duly what I did. My shoes came off, and of course I have to investigate every room and the outside of the house also, to get some sort of feel, maybe some sort of energy would come towards me. I went round every room. There were some interesting aspects. There was writing possibly on one of the walls. It was nonsensical writing, which may or may not have a natural genesis. I'm not quite sure. But again, it's important that the people, and I did give them some advice on what to do. Take photographs of any writings, make sure it's not added to. Also try and ignore any bangs, any knockings, any stone throwings, any smells. Don't comment on it. Also to ask the poltergeist to leave. It's as simple as that. Sometimes that does work when you say, you are disrupting our lives, would you mind stopping, would you mind leaving? Quite often they will do that. I went round every room in the house, downstairs, kitchen, living room, upstairs bedroom, and into the bathroom in my stocking feet. Now, before I left, it's quite imperative really that I don't take whatever's in there with me. So I do need a couple of moments just to make sure that doesn't happen. But afterwards, it was back into the bathroom for me. That was something drew me there. There was something in there. I couldn't quite describe it. And it was only when I actually left the house that it did literally hit me, and not quite in the face, but certainly down below in the sock area, what had gone on. First time I'd gone into the bathroom, I'd come out of there, and I just walked out of there. The second time I went into the bathroom, the floor was wet. The floor was wet, and my socks were wet. Classic case of mischievous poltergeist activity. Again, having a laugh, and being a little bit of a nuisance. The advice that I gave them, to ask the poltergeist to leave, I hope they've done that. I expect a little bit of feedback. An interesting case. I won't bore you with any more details, but a classic case possibly, and very interesting, and I'm very grateful to those people for contacting me. I was asked, have I ever heard poltergeist activity? Well, to be honest with you, no. And the person did intimate about one of the stories I told about rattlings in the North Wales Hospital. I didn't really put that down to poltergeist activity. I didn't investigate that as such then, as that. I was more interested in something of a more ghostly nature Again, ghosts, poltergeists, totally different beings altogether. Anyway, thanks for listening. Time for coffee for me now.